Today our topic is the importance of self-sufficiency in Stoicism. Stoicism is an ancient philosophy that teaches us how to live a good life, not by depending on others or external things, but by focusing on what we can control. The Stoics believed that true happiness comes from within, from our own thoughts, actions, and character. They taught that we should not rely on money, fame, or other people to make us happy. Instead, we should learn to be self-sufficient, which means being able to take care of ourselves emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. This idea is very important because it helps us to remain strong and calm, even when life is difficult. Let me explain why self-sufficiency is so important in Stoicism and how you can apply it to your own life. First, let's talk about what self-sufficiency means in Stoicism. It does not mean that you should live alone or avoid other people. It also does not mean that you should never ask for help. Instead, self-sufficiency is about developing inner strength and independence. It means that you do not need external things to feel complete or satisfied. For example, if you lose your job, a self-sufficient person will not fall apart because their sense of worth does not depend on their job. They know that their value comes from who they are, not what they have. This is a key idea in Stoicism. Focus on what you can control, which is your own mind and actions, and let go of what you cannot control, like other people's opinions or events in the world. One of the most famous Stoic philosophers, Epictetus, said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." This means that true wealth is not about having a lot of money or things, but about being content with what you have. If you always want more, you will never be happy, no matter how much you have. But if you learn to be satisfied with less, you will always feel rich. This is why self-sufficiency is so important. It helps you to stop chasing after things that do not really matter, and instead focus on what truly makes you happy. Another Stoic philosopher, Seneca, said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." This means that poverty is not about how much you have, but about how much you want. If you always want more, you will always feel poor, even if you have a lot. But if you can control your desires and be happy with what you have, you will never feel poor. This is another reason why self-sufficiency is important. It helps you to control your desires and focus on what really matters. So, how can you become more self-sufficient? The first step is to understand what you can control and what you cannot control. The Stoics called this the dichotomy of control. You cannot control the weather, the economy, or other people's actions. But you can control your own thoughts, feelings, and actions. This is where you should focus your energy. For example, if someone insults you, you cannot control what they say, but you can control how you react. If you choose not to be upset by their words, their insult has no power over you. This is how self-sufficiency works. It is about taking control of your own mind and not letting external things disturb your peace. The second step is to practice gratitude. Gratitude means being thankful for what you have. When you focus on what you have instead of what you lack, you will feel more content and satisfied. The Stoics believed that we should be grateful for everything, even the challenges and difficulties in life. Why? Because challenges help us to grow and become stronger. When you face a problem, instead of complaining, try to see it as an opportunity to learn and improve. This attitude will help you to become more self-sufficient because you will not depend on external things to make you happy. Instead, you will find happiness within yourself, no matter what happens. The third step is to practice simplicity. The Stoics believed that a simple life is a good life. When you have fewer things, you have fewer worries. You do not need to spend time and energy taking care of your possessions or worrying about losing them. Instead, you can focus on what truly matters: your relationships, your character, and your inner peace. Simplicity also helps you to be more self-sufficient because it reduces your dependence on material things. If you can live happily with less, you will not need to rely on money or possessions to feel good about yourself. The fourth step is to develop resilience. Resilience means the ability to bounce back from difficulties. Life is full of challenges, and no matter how self-sufficient you are, you will face problems. But if you are resilient, you will not be broken by these problems, and you will learn from them and become stronger. The Stoics believed that we should prepare for difficulties before they happen. They called this premeditation of evils. This means that you should think about the worst-case scenarios and plan how you will handle them. By doing this, you will not be surprised or overwhelmed when problems arise. Instead, you will be ready to face them with calmness and strength. The fifth step is to focus on your own character. The Stoics believe that the most important thing in life is to be a good person. This means being honest, kind, courageous, and fair. When you focus on improving your character, you will not need to rely on external things to feel good about yourself. Your sense of worth will come from who you are, not what you have. This is the ultimate goal of self-sufficiency, to be so strong and confident in yourself that you do not need anything else to be happy. Finally, remember that self-sufficiency is a journey, not a destination. It takes time and practice to become more self-sufficient. You will not change overnight, but if you keep working on it, you will see progress. Start small. Focus on what you can control. Practice gratitude. Simplify your life. Develop resilience. And work on your character. Over time, you will become more self-sufficient and less dependent on external things. This will give you a sense of freedom and peace that nothing else can provide. In conclusion, self-sufficiency is one of the most important ideas in Stoicism. It teaches us that true happiness comes from within, not from external things. By focusing on what we can control, practicing gratitude, living simply, developing resilience, and improving our character, we can become more self-sufficient and less dependent on the world around us. This does not mean that we should avoid other people or stop caring about the world. It simply means that we should not let external things control our happiness. Instead, we should find happiness within ourselves, no matter what happens. This is the key to a good life, according to the Stoics, and it is a lesson that is just as relevant today as it was thousands of years ago.